That's why making your way back home is gonna take such a long time. If you don't let go, losing your way will seem to be the way to like to spend your time. So just
anyway, I'd just like to say what a superb first set of the evening. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Superb. Well done. Thank you. What I think is really interesting is, you haven't got bass and drums tonight. There's just the three of you on guitar, but you don't really miss the bass and drums, do you? You've got this sound which is, there's lots of space in it, but you can hear every instrument. How have you sort of developed that sound over the years?
What, just the three of us? How we developed?
Well, yeah,
that?
because I think you've been together as a three-piece for longer than you have a five-piece.
Yeah, we kind of started out as a three-piece, didn't we? Touring with Manfred Mann, and we did some gigs with a guy called Robin Ford, and we used a loop pedal, and that was our thing for a while. And then
you had a guitar, you had a pickup on the guitar that was effectively a synthesizer.
That's right.
You could kind of create keyboard sounds and things.
That's right, through a GR55 Roland pedal. So you get bass lines and do bass lines and string, do whatever you want, really. Yeah, it's like a synthesizer.
And the unsung hero of the band, I think, Stu, you doing the rhythm guitar. People don't always necessarily see you doing the histrionics. These two are showing off, battling to see who can be the centre of attention. And you're in there making it all work. And without you, they're nothing. You know that, don't you?
And the driving, all the driving.
There's all the driving.
Most of the driving,
as well.
90%.
You drive the van as well.
Yeah.
That's very
They're always drunk, you see.
But it is interesting. You've got effectively two lead guitarists. How do you prevent it sounding like a complete dog's breakfast?
I don't know. How do we do that? I don't know.
I don't know if
I thought
we manage
it did.
it, but no, I think we're both very different players, and we come from. We've got similar influences, but then we've got quite varied influences as well, and we play quite differently, and we have different sounds. So, I think it's about listening and trying to interweave the parts. But also, I don't think we would sound the same because our kind of influences are quite different.
But if you're both doing it at the same time, it kind of cancels each other out. But what you do is you sort of like leave space for one another in the track, don't you?
Yeah, we don't solo at the same time. No.
Sometimes.
Okay, let me write that down. Don't solo at the same time. That's interesting. Now
that might be fun, though.
I don't know if everybody knows, but Keith and Stu, you're brothers, and Mike, you're not a brother. I mean, you may have a brother. I don't mean he hasn't got.
He's got a sister.
He's got a sister. Oh, lovely. But we all know what an absolute disaster it is being in a band with brothers. I mean, Oasis, Crowded House, Dire Straits, The Kinks. It's just a nightmare for everybody else, isn't it?
It is for Mike,
bickering, fighting. There's things that go back years that you'll never know about. That it's passive aggressive. It's oppressive. How do you cope with it?
Puts his headphones on.
Noise cancelling headphones in the car usually.
Mike sits in the front, actually, to split us up.
Yeah. Oh, really?
We are the middle-class Gallaghers. We argue about esoteric ideas and olives, that's it.
Ideas that you can
Our
never prove or disprove.
Olives better
Olives. Who likes olives and who doesn't like olives? What are they?
We all like olives.
Stuffed or not stuffed?
Exactly.
One of the conversations we had was...
Free will or
is
no?
there free
Here we
will?
go.
He put me on. He bought me a book by Sapolsky about how there isn't free will. There's no such thing as free will because everything is predetermined.
Who did mine?
It's turtles all the way down.
You bought it.
You see, this is an ongoing argument after every gig. We'll have like a 4-hour argument where I'll say there is free will. I say there's no free will.
And I said, no, there's no free will.
He says you've got no free will to...
He's not joking. It's literally 3 hours in the car.
Literally. Mike, look, just reach out to someone.
It's a good argument.
Just, nobody knows what you're going through. Well, we've got an insight into it. The other thing, they also go out as a 5-piece with a bassist and a drummer, who are also brothers. Is that right?
Oh, no, they were. They're not anymore.
They were brothers, they're not anymore.
We got rid of them.
They got divorced.
Yeah.
They got sacked.
No, they went on to do
you're
other
talking
stuff.
about Adam and Joel, who the original lineup was Adam and Joel Goldberg on drums and bass, but after the pandemic they left and they're doing their own thing. They're doing this classic double.
Classic double, yeah.
But we got a guy called Sam on bass and Will on drums. So
Very good. Yeah. Woo!
Yay! A lot of love in the house.
Fans.
Where are they tonight? What are they doing?
They are. I think they're gigging, aren't they? I think they're gigging somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, in different bands. They do different things.
better paid gig.
Yeah,
You're getting paid? Gosh. Okay. Now, Keith, I wanted to talk to you about when you came to learn the guitar in the first place. You'd had some sort of traumatic accident.
Yeah.
And you managed to sort of get through this by learning how to play the guitar. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it became like a therapy. Yeah, I jumped over a fence to get a football. We were playing football.
It was actually really funny to watch.
It was funny.
Because it was all of us, because there's 5 brothers.
They all came over laughing. They were like...
Yeah, so there was the 2 older brothers there, and when he fell, it was fucking hilarious. But
it did look funny. It
turned
funny,
dark quick.
But it was really painful, yeah. And then I kind of...
Stop moaning.
Yeah, stop moaning. It's not that bad. Yeah, so yeah, I impaled myself on the fence post. Obviously, they knew that I was dying when they came over. They could see that because all the colour drained out of my face, and yeah, and then I lost.
When they stopped laughing,
they
realised
stopped laughing. Then, yeah.
That was after he got to hospital. No, it became serious very quick. Yeah, initially when he fell, it was funny, but then it wasn't.
No. Yeah, I couldn't breathe. I collapsed my lungs, ruptured my spleen, lost loads of blood, pints of blood.
Yeah, okay, I think we get the picture now.
I
feel a bit queasy now. I didn't really want all that detail, did you? Anyway, but it was horrible.
It was bad.
Let's just say that.
And then just my recovery was just guitar really, because I couldn't do much else.
And then this, you were in the Shropshire Star. You grew up in Shropshire, and some complete stranger contacted you and offered to teach you.
Yeah, he offered to come on his Ducati bike and teach me guitar, yeah, and introduced me to Robin Ford, which is one of my favourite guitarists now, and Stevie Ray Vaughan and some other great, the Hamsters, they were quite good as well, doing all Hendrixy type stuff, yeah. So I went to see them, but yeah, he really inspired me and encouraged me.
So he came over, and did you pay him?
No, he didn't ever want any money. No, he was really nice fella.
That's very nice. And Stu, what about you? You were learning the guitar at the same time, but you already learnt it. You're a bit older than Keith.
We bought our first guitar. There was a school fair the school went to, and we saw this guitar on the stand, and I said to the guy, how much is it? And we had 15 quid. He said, if I haven't sold it by the end of the day, you can have it. So we took this guitar back, and we used to just get feedback and like pluck the string.
We plugged it into the hi-fi, didn't we?
Yeah, we plugged it into this hi-fi.
Oh, right.
So that was the first thing we did, and we didn't really know how to play it. And then I got into bands and started playing a bit, and Keith picked up and took off within months, and was, yeah.
I mean, Keith, you've only got one hand, which obviously has. Yes, I know. I've only just noticed. You probably knew that already, but I mean, I play a bit of guitar, and I've got 2 hands. It's quite hard to learn how to play guitar.
It is quite hard, yeah.
And it must have been incredibly difficult for you to, even the most simple things must have been more difficult for you. How did you kind of stick with it?
I think I was just obsessed with it. I think I just fell in love with it. I was always in love with guitar from a young age. Like the minute I saw a guitar, I want to play guitar. But it was just, where there's a will, there's a way, isn't it? I just persevered with it and just didn't give up. And yeah, I just became more and more obsessed.
He used to put on his clothes and then put the guitar on. And I'd be watching a film, and he'd come in with the guitar, and I'd go, "Don't play the guitar." And he'd start playing really quietly. And I go, "I can hear it," and he'd go, "I'm not even playing that loud."
You used to get annoyed when I get ready. When I used to get ready, didn't I?
I used to get ready. I go, "You're getting your hook ready.
Getting ready.
Just fuck off with the guitar."
Played on the toilet and everything.
Oh, yeah. I think
Yeah,
you probably had to be that upset. But and has that sort of like pushed you down the road of becoming a lead player? Because rhythm, it's all about the right hand, isn't it? So
the lack of wrist makes it quite difficult. But I can take my arm off and do some stomp funk. I can stomp funk.
Stomp funk, a new genre.
I can demonstrate later.
It's a little side project for you there, the old Stomp Funk album. But you, and so anyway, so you grew up in Shropshire, and then it was when you came to Liverpool that you met Mike, and the whole thing kind of started where you formed the band.
Yeah, we lived right by Mike. And Stu and I moved in together, and that's when we started the whole Xander and the Peace Pirates thing. It started off as Xander and the Smoke Pockets.
What was the thinking behind Smoke Pockets?
We were just smoking a lot of weed around that time, and
okay.
And one night we were stoned, and I got a bit of smoke caught in my lung. I think it was about. We weren't even.
That's
smoking.
where smoke goes when you smoke. It goes into the lungs.
Yeah,
he thought he was stoned. No, he was just paranoid because he was stoned. He thought it was stuck in his lungs for like hours.
I think
and he said, "I've got smoke pockets." And
I said, I think I burped and a bit of smoke came up. That must have been a smoke pocket.
So many other days could have come out of that experience, but luckily. And then you went down the pirate thing route because of
just because of the hook, and we were into peace and love and Woodstock and all.
Pirates aren't really into peace and love. That's sort of the opposite of what they're into, isn't it?
Yeah, we thought we'd change it.
They were the Robin Hoods of the sea. They used to rob off the rich to give to the poor.
That's our idea.
That's the original.
That's not what pirates did.
They did. That's what we think.
The word pirate, it means
Alex,
doing it.
We live in a post-truth era, so we can say whatever we want. If we say it with enough conviction, it's true.
Well, okay, Xander and the post-truth pirates.
That's it.
Anyway, eventually you got a regular spot at the Cavern. You were like the house band for 5 years. How do you do that? And what does playing every week for 5 years in front of a live audience do to you as a band? Mike, tell us about it.
Got quite depressing, didn't it?
Well, I wasn't there, so I can't really tell you about it. I didn't join until after the Cavern.
No.
So,
Mike used to walk in and watch us, and he put earplugs in, so it makes you deaf.
He was waiting until you got enough polish to be worthy of his talents.
Yeah, no, Mike joined. We got picked up by Gibson Guitars and taken to America. Mike came
I'm getting
along.
to that.
All right, sorry, Jesus.
He was waiting for that.
Don't
One.
spoil
All right, the
it.
Cavern. We were like
the
the
exciting
Tell
bit
him
we're
about the
getting to in a
Cavern.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike joined after.
Joined
that
after.
period.
Okay, Mike, please don't tell us about the Cavern. Okay. What does that do? A lot of bands these days don't get that kind of apprenticeship. Was it an apprenticeship? Was it a way of kind of polishing your skills and learning how to perform?
Yeah, because we were there every week, and it was always packed, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we were busking originally. We got it through busking, really. We were busking, and a friend of ours who lived on the estate had seen us where we lived by Mike, and it said, he was security on the car park, and he said, I'll get you a gig. So, yeah, that's sort of, and it was easy to get other gigs around Liverpool and the Wirral. We've done loads of gigs on the Wirral off the back of that by saying, we play the Cavern. And
it's a club that people have heard about around the world, haven't they? It's kind of an amazing calling card.
Yeah.
But is the audience mainly foreign tourists?
A lot of foreign tourists, a lot of tourists, but a mixture really. There'd be regulars that came in. We were really loud then, though. That was insanely loud. My tinnitus went to another level then, like an orchestra playing of a night.
And with that low ceiling, that's going to be very loud, isn't it?
It was bad, yeah.
Bouncing around.
We were way too loud. Mike remembers coming, don't you?
So you came, Mike. So you want to talk about? You were putting stuff up on YouTube, like many bands do, and then you got a call from a very interesting person from America.
Well, we were at the Cavern, and I walked outside, and we had a video that we'd done a few weeks before, and it had something like 35,000 views on it, and I had loads of comments, and that never happened. We'd have a few comments, people saying, and I commented to someone, where did you see it? And they said, I saw it on the Gibson page, and I was like, that's weird. And then, we got the call.
Yeah, Henry Jesuits.
I'm glad you said that, because I've seen it written down, and I've no idea how to say it. It's like a Scrabble sort of triple score. It's an amazing sound. So, they just phoned you up out of the blue and said, come on tour with us.
Yeah, they flew us over to Las Vegas, which was a nightmare to get to, wasn't it?
Yeah, we missed the connection because Keith was taking ages to get to he was like, just calm down, enjoy the trip.
No, that's not why we missed it. No, he just made that up. He just made.
No, we did.
He just thought he made that up to make it more.
I was panicking. I was
all.
panicking, wanting to get customs.
I'd be like you.
And there was one line for everyone not American and 20 lines for the Americans. and we just stood there for ages. And we had taken a bit of time to get to customs, but there's no way we'd have made it anyway.
No, we wouldn't have made it.
And they sacked you on the spot, I hope. For
Well,
your
they booked us a
unprofessionalism.
limo to drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas
We had
overnight.
this lovely African guy drive us all the
Yeah,
way, didn't he? He was
drove us
really
like
nice,
7
really
hours
nice
across
fella.
the desert.
So we slept, and he drove us all the way from LA, wasn't it? It was from LA to Las Vegas, which was crazy.
Wow, I mean, rock and roll. You must have thought, this is it. We've completely arrived. We are now megastars.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that what it was like? Was it?
No, it wasn't like that. No, we played in a little tent, didn't we, in Las Vegas?
Stayed in
doing
a
Gibson.
tent.
Played
No.
in like this. No, it was quite a
played in
flashy
a tent.
tent. And we were offered to go and see Fleetwood Mac, but we were too tired, weren't we?
Yeah, we
to
met
go.
Guns N' Roses, one of Guns N' Roses guitarists,
we
and he was
couldn't be
going to
bothered.
Fleetwood Mac, but we didn't want to go because we were too tired.
We just thought, oh, God.
And Christopher Lloyd of Back to the Future was there, and he was a bit weird and moody.
I tell you what, I mean, cynicism. I mean, I would have killed for that experience. And listen to you, oh, we went to bed. It was really dull. It was really boring. Good. Look, you're in West Kirby now. It's all right, but it's not LA with Guns N' Roses, is it? Look at this. You've wasted it.
We have.
And then you did like a tour of Europe as part of this Gibson thing. Is that right?
Well, we did some gigs in Amsterdam, Germany. We got our deal through playing with Gibson. So basically, we met some guys who worked at Whistlewood, and that's when we signed up with V2 Records.
The record. Now I want to ask you about this. Now I don't know if anybody's heard of Eddie Kramer, but he was the recording engineer on all of Jimi Hendrix's albums. He also engineered all the Led Zeppelin albums. He produced Carly Simon's first record. He was involved in the Rolling Stones sessions and all sorts. He was a huge fan. He offered to produce your album, and you turned him down. What were you thinking?
We haven't got £50,000.
You've got to think creatively.
We tried to. I tried everything in my power to raise £50,000. It wasn't happening.
We did a Kickstarter, didn't we? Did the Kickstarter thing, but it didn't.
Yeah, no, he was lovely. It was obviously.
He was.
It was great to meet him, but he just got to it because he was in America and he wanted to mix it in America, and the deal was in Europe. It just wasn't happening.
He was deaf anyway, so he wouldn't have been much of any good. So
I know, but if you'd have had his name on it, that would have been worth.
yeah, it would have been.
you know.
All
And
right.
he had Led Zeppelin Tourette's as well. Everything was a Led Zeppelin story. So.
Had some great photos, didn't he?
Yeah, you'd never get through anything because it'd be when Led Zeppelin, when Free, when Kiss.
He was nice, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I mean, who would want to hear about Led Zeppelin sessions
Yeah.
and
Boring.
working in some of the greatest records of all time? You two, you've just got Mike. Come on, what did you think about it? Did you think Eddie Kramer? Yeah, that might be quite a good move.
He's even more cynical than us.
He is. He
Don't
is.
ask him.
And sarcastic.
No, Eddie was great, but yeah, we just couldn't financially sort it out at that time for Eddie to fly first class over to Liverpool.
But I mean, what's interesting is you actually now do pretty much all the producing and arranging and everything on the record. So I think you probably manoeuvred it in that way. Get Eddie Kramer out of the picture, get yourself into the boss seat, and look at you now.
Yeah, exactly. Made it here. But no, it worked out. So we basically did it ourselves, and
Yeah. Worked out.
Now, I don't want to bring everybody down, but mental health is something that's quite an important aspect to your journey, guys, and the way that music can be used to be therapeutic in that way. And you've both had your challenges with mental health, as many of us have.
Yeah. Trauma.
Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, during the accident, I had terrible PTSD, and Stu's struggled with trauma and stuff after we lost our father when we were quite young. It affected him quite deeply, didn't it? Because he was away at the time, and I think, it was. I think he felt like there maybe he could have done something, but obviously that's not the case. But yeah, it was a heavy time, and I think. Yes, Stu's. You should talk.
Well,
on to it.
all the cliches really. My dad died, and then I got bullied because I was fat. And I started taking drugs, lots and lots of drugs from about the age of probably 13 to try and fit in and try and, smooth over that sort of angularness of my personality. And I mean, sort of recently, over the last few years, I've got help, and it's come to light that I've got bipolar. So I had a breakdown during the pandemic, left the band for a couple of years because I just couldn't leave the house, became very ill. But I think I'd always self-medicated with drugs and alcohol. So I've been in rehab. I'd abuse drugs, I'd smoke weed habitually, but don't do any of that anymore. So I just take the meds now. And the therapy, I do something called EMDR, which is sort of trauma processing. So it's where you sort of almost like meditate on the trauma, and with a guided sort of psychologist taking you through and using safe spaces and things like that. So that helps a lot. Initially, the diagnosis was a little bit like jarring. It's like bipolar, it's all the labels come up. But I think I'd had so many breakdowns and psychotic episodes and drug abuse that it was. I think it sort of explained a lot of that. I mean, both of it. Our entire family have had problems with mental health. So
we're all bonkers, our family.
No, thank you.
The best people are.
Now we just put it all on mic.
How important is it, for you to have, this creative outlet of a band?
Well, yeah, when I wasn't playing, because obviously I stopped playing and the guys carried on, and I just couldn't leave the house. So I think I spoke to Mike initially, and he was saying, well, you should come and do some gigs. And then I spoke to Keith, and he said, come back, Because I just shut everyone out. I just literally cut everyone off. I spoke to my wife and my son and my mum, and that was it. So I think once it was all gone, I stripped it right back to base level, and then realised how important it was. And people come up at gigs and they said, because I've talked a bit about it online, and they said, oh, it sort of helped me, or so there's that. It's a cliche, but it's similar to what Keith has done. He has people who've had accidents or limb deficiencies, and they've come up and they've said, I'm going to start playing guitar again. Soldiers and all kind of people who had industrial accidents. He teaches people now, so it is nice.
Got a few one-armed students now.
Yeah, he's got one arm school.
One of them flies planes. He's one arm
Really?
goes 60 years old, and he's starting to learn to play, and he's doing amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, from Chester.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So so music's just been a therapy for us.
Yeah.
Really, it's been like a saving grace. It's a way to express yourself and help people feel something. Including ourselves. So it's that's how we treated it, really, wasn't it? It's just we didn't really think of it that way, but we just after a while you start to realise, it is.
And let's just talk about songwriting just briefly before we get back on to the second set. How do you write the songs? I think people are fascinated by how you originate songs. There's lots of songs around, and you're coming up with an original song, and then how you work it through as a band.
It changes all the time. But more recently, we've just written together, haven't we? We've just brought ideas together, and things will just happen in the room. And before that, maybe one of us had written an idea and then brought it to the table. And then other times there were sort of songs that were pretty much done, and
I think that
so you kind of like
the first album you had a backlog of songs, didn't you? That we took. They were more or less finished. You'd been playing them and stuff, and we took them and kind of rearranged them with the band. And there was a lot of material there.
Yeah, that's 11/11. 11/11 was the first album. Is that right?
Yeah, 11/11. Yeah.
And then I think the next album and the stuff that we're working on now has been more of kind of mainly the three of us kind of bringing stuff in and then working on it in the rehearsal room, either the three of us to start with, and then with the band, and kind of forming it that way. But it changes. People bring bits in and stick bits together, and
And this second album was recorded at Parr Street in Liverpool, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, Parr Street,
which is no more. It's closed, hasn't it?
It closed down. Unfortunately.
Gone,
it's very sad.
Demolished inside.
Studio 2 as well shut down, which was a cool little bar. That was
yes,
part of the studio.
I went there. And so you're going to do home recording now?
Well, Mike has a lot of amazing musical recording gear.
We've done an EP that we've been kind of I don't know. We've been
We took that to Nashville, didn't we? We used that for
Trying to
sort of play
work
around.
out.
Nashville.
Yeah, we went to Nashville and we played some gigs out in Nashville. Yeah, and then we took this EP just to play to people.
kind of
didn't we?
EP demo to show people what we're looking at
Just to-
doing for the next album.
Just
And
so
then we're probably going to do it in a studio, but we're talking to a few people, aren't we?
Okay,
get that
so but
sorted.
you've got the Order Out of Chaos is the album from 2022, which is out now, and so the next thing is this EP that could develop into an album.
Yeah.
It will be an album. We've got two producers who are quite top producers, aren't
But
they?
a
They've worked
lot
with some-
cheaper than Eddie Kramer.
They're a bit
obviously.
cheaper, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not as good, perhaps. Not as many good anecdotes about Led Zeppelin. But, you know, you hate that anyway, don't you, guys? Yeah, you hate
It
that.
makes good tea, though.
Yeah, Eddie Kramer makes good tea.
He did make a good tea.
Really?
Yeah, he made us a cup of tea.
I was very impressed.
He
with
made a
his
point
tea.
of
For an
telling us how
American.
he makes this tea as well.
He showed us his six-pack.
Didn't show me.
You're not talking about beer?
I showed you mine before.
He did show me. I happened to ask him about his injury, and he just started showing me his scars and that, and I felt very awkward.
Yeah, which I liked.
But I'm gonna get some counselling about it. Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
too.
Go away and make yourself ready for the triumphant second set of the evening. If you'd like to go and avail yourself of the facilities, the bar, the lavatories, whatever you want to do, and we'll be back here in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.